Hey everyone, it's Erica and welcome back to the studio. Today I've got my March bullet journal plan with me video for you, and I am super excited about this one because I just really love how it turned out. I'm going to be using a bunch of really bright colorful markers today and some fine liners, so if you're curious about any of the specific things I'm using, definitely check out the video description below. I'm going to leave a list of all the things I'm using. So in my bullet journal, I like to do a very elaborate monthly page to kind of mark the theme and also just to have fun once a month doing a really pretty page. And for this month's theme, I wanted to do something with turquoise blue and then also with flowers because I am ready for spring, you guys. I really need some sunshine and I love gardening, so this is definitely the time of year where I'm just getting real excited about gardening and stuff, and for spring. I also wanted to do a lettering piece that featured a typewriter. I love vintage objects, vintage cameras and whatnot, so for this typewriter spread, I also chose a quote that kind of had to do with typing things out and writing. So it says on the right hand side of my bullet journal page, do not compare your first draft with someone else's final copy. And that was a quote that I'd seen around on Pinterest and Instagram and whatnot, and it really spoke to me. I really love quotes like this. It just reminds you to kind of keep perspective on things. And I definitely have talked about comparison before on this channel, and it really seemed to resonate with a lot of people, so I thought it'd be a great time for me to bring it up again in this new year, in 2019, because I don't think I've talked about it yet. I had a lot of fun kind of doing the shading for the typewriter with the turquoise blue. I think that turned out really well. Just as you layer the color on, it gets darker and darker, and that was super fun to kind of shade that way. And it looks really smooth too. I was very surprised, very pleasantly surprised, I think I will be doing more of this type of work with the Tombow Duo brush markers. Usually I use it for brush lettering. They're very popular for lettering. And I also use it for highlighting things in my bullet journal, for making my calendar and things like that, and for my headings. But man, I've been missing it out. I really loved doing the shading on here. So for the fine lining, I'm using some Sakura Micron pens, very, very thin ones. I think I'm using the 01 here, and then I also use the 005 at some points to do the lines. And since I'm kind of trying to keep it loose, it's still kind of tight, but I'm trying to make it sketchy for that vintage aesthetic. And I just really love how this image turned out. I don't like the keys though. I was not very patient with them, and as you can see, they turned out a little bit wacky, a little smaller than they really should be. And that's why you should be kind of patient with things. I don't know, I just get really tired of them because they're kind of repetitive and there's so many of them. It's like writing the year at a glance page in your bullet journal. Alright, I did a serif style lettering for the word March, and I really like it. Despite the flaws and despite the keys, I really, really love it. Alright, so on the other side, I've got my quote. For me, I have so much trouble with not comparing myself to other people. It even started in childhood because, disclaimer, I really love my parents. They're so supportive. They're the best. And we love each other, we have a really good relationship. But my parents used to do that thing where they would compare me to other people a lot. So my cousins, even my siblings, they would just constantly tell me to do better and to try to motivate me by comparing my accomplishments with their accomplishments, kind of pitting us against each other. And, I'm not saying that they were bad parents, they were really good parents, but nobody's a perfect parent, and this really kind of bothered me as a kid, even into my teens and early 20s. Now, as an adult looking back, I can see where they're coming from. They were just trying to motivate me, make me push myself and be a better person in terms of my skill set. Even though it came from a good place, it kind of backfired. Now into adulthood, I constantly compare myself to other people. I compare my art to other people's art. I'm comparing my career to other people's careers. Even if it's a totally different career than my own, I always question what I'm doing because of that, because of the comparison trap. And it's all the more difficult to remove yourself from that sort of mindset in this digital social media day and age when everyone's presenting a super curated version of themselves, their whole entire life. They're just showing only the good parts, and it's just so hard to keep that perspective. So we kind of actively have to do that for ourselves. And I have a lot of things to dismantle from like my childhood and just kind of trying to be an overachiever in my childhood into the person I am now. Now I just kind of try to keep it chill and not take things as seriously, you know? So not comparing myself to other people and only using myself as a benchmark, comparing myself to my past self, that's something that I'm still working on. You're probably tired of me kind of speaking about this on this channel, but yeah, it's just kind of reframing our thinking so that we're able to move past it and be productive. And even if we do compare ourselves to other people, maybe it really can be a way to be motivated instead of deterring ourselves and feeling bad about ourselves. So that is basically what's on my mind nowadays, and that is the inspiration for my bullet journal quote and even the imagery. So the lettering took a really long time on this side. You know, the lettering on the other side, when it's very small, I didn't have to thicken the lines, and it did turn out a little bit wonky, but then again, I'm a human, not a typewriter, so I'm totally okay with it. And there it is, my finished artwork. Not to ditch Leuchtturm or anything as a notebook company, I really do enjoy their notebooks, but the more extra I get with my bullet journal, the more I realize I'm going to need to switch to a notebook with a dot grid that has heavier paper next year. I'm going to see this through to the end of the year, but man, I really want some thicker pages. Okay, next is the March tasks, and as you can see, I'm just keeping it real simple. Same exact layout for the calendar as the last 2 months because it's working for me. I really like this minimal thing that I've got going on. I'm just changing up the colors, and I just love this turquoise theme. I'm also choosing a pen that's this beautiful minty blue color to match, and it's loaded up with black ink right now. So this Kaweco fountain pen is actually a medium-sized nib. I've been using fine point nibs in the past, so it'll be a nice change. And I'm just gonna write out, you know, all the calendar fixins. And there it is, my calendar, which I use for keeping track of my content, appointments, and events. All right, let's take a look at what I've got. So here's the artwork for March. And then my March tasks. I'm going to migrate my stuff over, and then my calendar. So I'm ready to fill this up with all my tasks after this video, but let's take a look at February and see how I used it. So I didn't really do a lot of the tasks that I set out to do. About half of them I'm going to migrate over to the March page. I mean, it's understandable. I was sick for a lot of it, as you can see on my calendar here. As for my daily logs, I did use my bullet journal every single day in varying degrees. Some lists were longer, some were shorter. And I'm going to be doing the same thing with my daily logs in March. So just a header and then my daily log. I'm going to be using the turquoise blue Tombow marker for the dates and then the black ink in the Kaweco. All right, everybody, that is my March Plan With Me video. Leave your thoughts and feelings about the comparison game in the comments below. I'd love to know what your experiences are. And yeah, happy planning, happy journaling, happy art making, and I will see you for the next video. Bye.